everyone, and welcome back to the Ultimate Racing 2D2 podcast. We are here joined by the same people it was last time. Me, Mr. Albano, and everyone's favourite South African, Mr. Youa. He is here, he is just muted during the intro because there is people screaming outside of his house. Are you there, Youa?
Yes, I am here. I'm ready. But if you guys hear shouting in the background, just know that there's I don't know what's going on. I've been trying to peek at the window to try and see what the hell is happening.
You are turning into an
So,
old man mid-podcast, just looking at everyone outside of his house. Between my mic cutting out and people screaming outside your house, we have the combined, audio quality to ruin this. But it'll be fine. Anyway, enough
well,
talking
it
about our
really
mics and...
absolutely
Oh, sorry.
no problem, no problem. I'm saying it will be 100% okay.
Everything's fine in UR2D, isn't it? Everything's perfect. But we're here to
Absolutely.
talk about UR2D and the upcoming season 21 of UL, and I don't even know for CL, and then JL season 18A and probably not B. I don't think we'll get onto that because we're trying to keep this podcast under at least an hour and a half. I think hopefully under an hour because I want to eat at some point today. I guess we get straight into it then, talking about JL, because it's very difficult to talk about AL at this stage, not knowing if there's going to be any more mobile sweats coming up, cough cough sesh,
Oh,
to ruin everyone else's day in JL. That I'm definitely not venting here over the podcast, but it's all good. It's all good. JL, the teams and drivers are pretty much. In fact, everyone but Raikar and Archon were having a bit of a battle in JL contracts. It was really funny the other day. Raikar offered a main seat to Carlitros. Then Oski, who is team owner, I believe, of Archon, offered him as well, along with Jason. And then Raikar offered Jason a seat. So they're having a little battle, and both drivers seem to be dead. Ergo, none of them have accepted yet. So we are, what day is this? This is Thursday. We are 3 days away from race day, and neither team has drivers. Interesting
oh,
stuff.
this is about to get very spicy because I think it's actually kind of funny that the battle started off the track. It's between the both of them as well. And speaking of like 3 days to go, later on we're gonna get into something as well, where there is like a contract situation that's come up. But for now, like with JL, it's very interesting because obviously you're also competing in JL this season. How are you feeling about it?
Um, that'll depend if there's any quote unquote mobile sweats that come up. There's Banner's team have signed
Ooh,
this guy called Mitchell, I believe, MW44, and
yeah.
Banner has spent the whole week, because talking about off track battles, Banner has been in my DMs in pretty much every chat of the leagues, and turns every conversation we have into an inter-team battle, because we both have new teams coming into GL this season, which is pretty cool to see two new teams, and very cool for me
Hmm.
to have my own team that, yes, I've signed myself for. I know, turn into Eurist, but he signed this guy, and he's been hyping him up for the last week and a half. Oh, Mitchell's gonna win the drivers' championship. Mitchell is gonna come in and beat all of you. Oh, Albano's washed. Stuff like that. I raced him in a
Damn.
mock the other day, and oh my, he could. Right, how nice would that be? Because I get he's new, but like, Banner needs to get his team owner role on and start training, because oh
Ooh.
my god, he is like Banner on steroids racing against him. Not in the speed factor, by the way, just in the way, like, you cannot go too wide with that
Damn.
man. Like,
Let's see.
yeah, I am very scared to race in jail. This will be my last season in jail because I don't enjoy it. I just want to win.
Good.
Um, Oh, I really I stopped enjoying it last season, but I stayed for ESM now, who have changed their name and also have a new
Yes.
team principal, which I guess we can talk about at some point. But yeah, it will be
Yeah.
interesting to see.
Agreed. Agreed. I think with a lot of the newer drivers as well, it's I think it's bound to be a bit of a sticking point in a way because obviously like we have mocks, we have short races. And in fact, oh, speaking of the short races, oh, I'm glad they've been brought back the evening races because I think these cars were made for the shorter races as opposed to the 25-minute races, 24-minute races, because you can, like, I think driving them alone isn't always the best experience, but driving them next to people when you're going side by side, trying to do switchbacks, trying to like block the line from switchbacks and everything like that, as we've gone and experienced within our own little gruppetto. Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, no, like with what Dana said about Mitchell, I think obviously like there's going to be that very big gap of inexperience to start with because it's like, there's ping, there's actually understanding that, you know what, you've got to go side by side and keep it respectful. So that's obviously something that hasn't quite been coached just yet. I think as the season goes on, it's going to be on seasons maybe. Like in, like, for example, Ozzy's case, where he was like rough at first, but nowadays it's actually a pleasure racing against Ozzy. Like the other day, he, myself, Manpe Coach, we were having our own little battle in the mocks. And then Ozzy and I, we were also battling with Formula Retro after that. And it was so fun because it's like, obviously, there's Ping on my side, and then it's adjusting that or adjusting to that. But it's like you can go side by side. He's very like tactically astute with how he like races, and I was seeing it also yesterday in I think the second mock too. So yeah, that's I think with some of the JL drivers that are coming in now, I think that's definitely going to be a big sticking point that time will like that it might take some time to overcome that. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think he was sort of not lost before he'd even begun, just sort of on the back foot before he even begun because no matter where he finished in the muck, Bana hyped him up to be even better. Like Bana was absolutely glazing this guy 24/7. But like, and I get it. You're excited to have a fast driver, but like the expectations been put far too high. I know if that was me coming in, I would be crapping myself, thinking, "Oh my god, I've got to basically win now, or else." Like, I don't know.
Okay.
Just I don't know. I feel like he maybe could have been a bit easy, setting the bar a little bit lower for him from the start. But yeah, enough about Cossport, who are Banna's team, and we've talked about the Raikar Archon battle. I
Oof.
guess. Well, Kenzer actually need to find a new driver because Arbor has been just told that he's not allowed
Yes.
to race in any of the three leagues because he retired and then came back.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. And I know Fede was reserved because he can't make all the races. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't really
Hmm.
know what they're gonna do for the gaps. Like,
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. So, right now, I'm not sure if this is going to happen as planned, and I might be giving some bad ideas here. But Enza now have an open spot, right? And Rika and Archon are both chasing Kalitros. So I would not be surprised if, and I hope this is not coming out. This podcast is not coming out before the time. But like, I can see Kenza potentially going after Carlitos because, firstly, he's Spanish, the game is Spanish, and like, was he racing for them before he left? Do
He's
you
raced
know?
for Kenzer twice before.
Okay. I mean, hey, you know what they say? Third time lucky.
It better not be third time lucky, for God's sake. If I don't win it this season, I'm gonna flip. No, nah, Kylie Trust is very good, and it would make sense, and it would be really, really funny just to see Archon and Riker fighting each other over this guy, and then just Doc Gamers slip in and steal him from both of them. Um,
Boy.
that'd be pretty funny. ESM are another not like
Oh, yes.
interesting team. Just their lineup is a very what's the word? I can't.
Stable. Stable.
Yeah, stable, consistent. All the words came back to me there in an instant. I have
Yeah.
never, ever, ever seen a more consistent driver than Sunday Driver, and he gets a lot of stick on this server for maybe being a bit dirty or getting his elbows out a bit too much. But there is one thing you cannot take away from that man, and it's consistency. Because pretty much every single race in JL, he's ninth, eighth, seventh, like always in the top 10. When he was in AL, it was always top fives. He is, and he's actually a
Yeah.
pretty good driver. And he's actually like, when you race him outside of the leagues, he's a pretty clean driver
Oh,
to race
yes.
against and pretty fun to race against as well. He's sort of one of the only people that I would say I've had, I guess, rivalries with in the leagues, but he's actually pretty cool. Um, like he's, and then Axis as well. He is.
Ooh, ooh.
I don't want to say quali merchant because that sounds really bad, but I think even he's said that about himself because he is rapid in quali, but he's like, we talked about this in the review, just too clean in the races. So just gets
Hmm.
taken advantage of and loses positions. But it will be very interesting to watch them and where they end up.
Absolutely. And I think they've got a very good balance of drivers in a way. Because obviously Sunday Driver gets his elbows out. But Axis is like more of the Saturday, or like in F1 terms, they'd say the Saturday guy. Sunday Driver's more of the Sunday guy. And
Oh yes.
uh, the fun. But yeah, and I think now they're both like parts of like ESM, right? And they've got Manbear Goat there. And as we know, Manbear Goats, when it comes to also like helping drivers develop, especially helping drivers develop in some of the areas where they struggle with top tiers. So they could definitely be like a wild card to watch out for,
Nah,
especially in
don't
like
rate
some
that
of the
man beer
areas.
goat. Don't rate him.
I wonder, is this a little bit of a team rivalry going on over here?
No, I'm joking. I would still be an AL back marker if it weren't for Matt Miracle. But no, yeah, they will
Oh,
be
yeah.
very fun to watch this season. CPR, I
Yeah.
feel like
Oh,
I
wait,
don't want
before you
to.
go into
Oh,
CPU, before that, I think like you also wanted to touch on earlier on about the new team principal at ESM.
Skibbity. I
Yeah,
mean, he is pretty quick. I would say he's definitely more like Axis in the fact that his one lap pace is incredible. I've never, I'm saying this just off of what I've seen in mocks. I've never raced him before, so I'll let you
yeah,
take this. I don't know if I don't. I just know that he's good at liveries.
I see. But I mean, like, because I was saying that because obviously you were the team principal the season before, and now he's the team principal. So how do you feel like that little like inter-team battle between, especially between you and ESM, is going to pan out?
I don't think there'll be a battle. I think it'll be weird racing against them, and there'll definitely be like at least from me and probably Mason because he was in
Yeah,
a lot of the VCs with me and Mill and Manbergo last season. More of a
yeah.
respect on track than most other teams. Not that we're going to just kill all the other teams except them, just sort of show a little bit more leeway on track. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I don't really have much to say on the team principal for ESM. There's very little to do because as much as Manbergo says he's never there, he still does track guides. He still shows up for the races. So pretty much my only job as
It's
team
100.
principal last season was to do the starters.
See, see, I see, I see.
Well,
Yeah,
I
no.
guess
Okay.
CPR now then, because they are probably the favourites. I'm not gonna lie, with Lexus and Elvis. That
Oof.
that's a insane lineup. That's like I don't really know what like the word is, but I would say they are one of, if not the favorite to win this season. Because Elbishon, I've raced a lot in mocks. I feel like me and him are pretty much even in every single way in pace. He's maybe got more consistency than me, but I don't know. I don't think I've ever raced someone so evenly in my life. And then Lexus is just rapid.
Oh yes. No, honestly, I feel like this season is going to be a very tight one. I think especially like if we I think because Lexus is more of the Sunday type of guy, but he's also shown up on Saturdays. Well, Biscone has got a solid overall package. And I think, yeah, this team is a hell of a strong team. Although they've got Solaris, who always tend to show up, and then you've got ESM, you've got Kenza, you've got Zipex potentially, you've got
Ooh.
Cosports maybe in the mix. So it's going to be a very, very, very tight season. But I think, like, based off how last season went, and based off the pace that both drivers showed last season, hey, the favorites tag, bring it on.
No, we've got Mr. Crunk in our team. We've won already. We've won before the season started with Mr. Crunk. Um,
100.
yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that's all we've really got
So
for CL there.
it's
We've talked for probably about 20 minutes and we've said anyone can win. So very productive so far.
absolutely,
um, I guess we move
absolutely.
on to the what's going to be the largest section because of Mazar. Um, I'll let you take it away with CL to start off with because I know exactly where you're going to go first.
Now, before I get there, what do you think of Stellaris' lineup, by the way?
Um, I I mean they were going to struggle to get much better than last season. I think it would have been near impossible to get any better than last season.
Yeah.
Um, with Sash who is just insane, and then Arbor who could be insane, just didn't feel
Please,
like it sometimes.
please.
Um, I it's a team with a lot of potential. Definitely, I just feel like this season they won't be going for the constructors. I think that's not mean to say. I'm good friends with Ricky. Don't really know Siskin. Siskin's new, bit of a wild card. Can be quick, but can also be a little bit of a, as we saw in Monaco, a slight bit of a torpedo. And then Ricky Boy is pretty good. He's definitely improving. So you might see them near
Well,
the top end of the grid at some points. But I can't see them challenging for the constructors this season. I'm not gonna lie.
I see.
What do you
Tell
think?
me his share. I think, I think. Solaris, if they can hold on to this driver lineup, especially into 18B, because I think Siskin is going to come alive at the start of 18A. But I think if they can hold on to both him and Ricky Boy in particular into 18B, then I think they've got a very good chance of maybe targeting 18B.
Yeah.
Because right now, 18A is a pretty strong, I'd say it's a pretty strong grid with those amongst them. So, yeah, that will definitely be one to watch out for.
Now, I am going to ask you this, and I didn't tell you that we were going to do this, but I'm going to, after we talk
Yeah.
about each league, I'm going to ask you for your prediction on a drivers' champion and constructors' champion. So I don't know if you want to
Hmm.
wait until that at the end, or if we just do that at the end of each section.
Let's do it now. Let's do it
Okay.
now. Let's do it. No, actually, let's do it at the end. Let's go
Okay.
for the
Okay.
end.
Okay. Anyway, on to the 30-minute section. Take it away, Youa.
So in CL, we have got how many teams is it? We've got one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 teams for this upcoming season. And we've got obviously VEO being replaced by Rising Goats GP. So Nuno the Second has now completely taken over from Game Mongoose, who had Vulpe Oka, but now the team's been rebranded and now it's a new identity. They've got little Jose and Ricky Boy, who, of course, now he's got 2 leagues where he's racing in, and Jose is making his comeback. Of course, he was a Mazda driver at some point too. We've
Was he?
got, yeah, he was actually.
Oh.
So I think the season before F1 Fan and I don't know. It was the season where F1 Fan and Glow made their debuts. So we had Vlad and we had Jose, but then they retired that season. So yeah, that's where the two of them came in. So that was, I think, 2 seasons ago.
Well, damn. Anyway, sorry, I
Mm.
interrupted you. I've thrown you off. Rising Goat
No
GP.
stress. No stress. So I'm gonna kick it off by obviously talking about my team because why not? So like obviously last season was a bit of like a transition period, but we're coming in but better, but it's stronger than last season. Got Crunk, got myself, then we've got our 2 drivers. Mika retired, and now we've got Albono staying for a second season.
Woohoo!
Mason joining the team. So yeah, let's go. And Mason joining the team and being Albono's teammate in JL too. So we've got that going on too, and then we've got Nikhil, who has driven a race for us as well before. I think this was Fuji, and now he's the reserve for us. So, like, with regards to what I expect, I hope you're listening intently, eh? I'm thinking, because Frank obviously said top 4 in the chat. I'm definitely thinking it's achievable. I'm definitely thinking it's achievable because now you've obviously got that experience under your belt now. And there's still work that we'll be doing this season. So I think as it goes on, I definitely see like you guys coming alive, especially towards the end of the season. I think the first few races might be a bit of a rough patch because for Matzo that's usually the case, and then towards the end of the season, that's where like things really start to kick off. So, yeah, what are your expectations for yourself this season, by the way?
Oh, um, I try not to make any because I don't want to. If I was being hopeful, I would say
Yeah.
I want a podium this season and sort of consistently in like top 8, top 7, top 6. If I'm
Mm.
being realistic, then I don't know because like I genuinely don't know because I don't know where I'm at in comparison to the grid which is
Yeah.
a strange feeling going into it. So I still think it will probably be more realistic and I guess a little bit pessimistic. But I mean, it's better than being
Yeah, fair.
delusional, I guess. Just probably more, like you said, towards the midfield or the bottom of midfield towards the start of the season, and then by the end of the season, the goal would be top in the top five. But we'll wait and see because I don't know. I mean, I've done lots of mocks and they've looked pretty promising, but again, I don't
Sorry,
want
sorry.
to. Huh?
No, you can carry on talking. I might just mute for a second, so feel free to waffle.
Okay. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, like with mocks and stuff, they've looked pretty promising, but without trying to glaze myself that much, I've always been better in mocks than I have been in races. So if I can get consistency, I don't see why it can't be better, if not a lot better than last season. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna have to fill in the silence for another little bit. I think so. Um, I
I
think
see.
so. You're back. Awesome.
So there was something happening in the background. So,
That's fine.
ooh, ooh, it was getting a bit hectic.
Oh,
Doors getting slammed and people almost throwing punches. But
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
no, just it's getting hectic at the back. I'm looking very intrigued to see what's happening. Wait. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me focus. Let me
My, my,
focus.
my
I'm so
town is
sorry.
boring. Jesus. The most exciting thing that's happened in the last 3 years is someone stole something from our local shop. Oh, that's voice
Holy
crack
moly.
number one. There it is. Okay.
Number one.
How far did we get
The
into it?
voice
About half an
continues.
hour. That's probably a record for me, not gonna lie. Anyway, yeah, I guess we can hopefully stop talking about me and move on to probably more Mazur. I guess Mason, who's not actually racing in
Yeah.
Spain, so what's gonna happen with that?
So with Mason, so obviously he's not racing in Spain, and Nico's probably not going to be able to race, but that's still a little bit of a thing that we're checking.
Oh no.
So for now, Leclerc is actually going to return after Novo Plano.
Oh,
So it's going to yeah. So it's going to probably be Albon and Leclerc. Last season it was Mika and Leclerc. So this should be very interesting. Very interesting.
well, I look forward to race one getting absolutely smoked by my teammate. Then that'll be fun. But yeah, what's your expectations for Mazda this season? And if you say consistent podiums, I am leaving.
Right. So my expectations for Mazda are consistent victories. Like race one, double victory. Race two, race 10, race 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I expect us to win every single race.
So moving on to
You did
Rising
ask.
Goat GP then. No, but actually, what's your expectations for Mazda this season?
Um, I'm still thinking like oh my soul. I love to aim high, right? So obviously, as long as we don't finish P7, that's all that matters. And this season, I'm going to be doing all the work to ensure we don't. So I'm definitely thinking similar to Crunk, where I think P4 is achievable, P5 is achievable, but I'm not dismissing the possibility of more for sure.
Okay, that seems fair. I yeah,
It's
I mean,
sounding a bit nervous there.
I would definitely hope that I don't like expectations because I always set them far too high in this game. So here in P4, but I guess that is probably realistic. I mean, towards the back end of the season, I feel like I could have gotten like top fives. Just was too
Yeah.
eager to get forward at the start and either killed myself or got killed. So I guess just work on that over the start of the season, and we'll pray we don't finish seventh, or else I think me and Mason are both getting hung by Youa.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh damn. Okay.
Yeah. No,
Um.
jokes aside. Yeah, no, like, jokes aside, though, I think you brought up a good point about expectations there. And I know you're not somebody who really likes expectations, although there might, like, every now and then, I might just add some expectations or maybe bully you into being like into just achieving that extra bit, a bit like last season, where it's like I put you against some drivers, not going to mention names, but then just to see if I can drag that little bit extra because I know that you're damn quick. But I know that sometimes I can get just that little bit more out of you with that little bit of motivation and like like yeah, just like something to spur you guys on every now and then we see how it goes. So like obviously like there's the expectation of that I have, but that's also something I'd rather you guys don't think about because like when like thinking so hard about expectations, it's like it can really mess with what you want to do, and sometimes it can also limit what you want to or like what you can like what you want to achieve because you see the expectation, then it's like can I achieve this expectation instead of like looking at everything from a like anything is possible point of view, you get me? So yeah, no, I think the expectation for you guys is off. I have my expectations, but the only thing that I really want is for you guys to just give your best. Yeah, I'm sounding contradictory, but yeah, just for you guys to give your best every race.
And not finish last. Yeah, that sounds fair. That sounds like good expectations. I think, but we probably shouldn't talk about Mazar too much because I think that's what everyone talked about the last one, just how much we talked about Mazar. So, but no, that is fair, and I'm looking
No
forward to
problem.
next season. I think it will be a fun season. I think one of the most interesting lineups is Rising Goat GP, who I'm gonna get
Yeah,
your opinion on their lineup now that you've done to me on VEO because Ricky Boy is a good driver, but he struggles to get into the top 8 in JL. So it will be interesting to see
yeah.
how he gets on in CL, and then Jose, I think, or Gose, um, I don't really know. So what's your sort of predictions for how they will be this season?
Like based on Monaco, because he still has the speed. So he's like when he was with Matza, he was a very consistent driver. So if he can like achieve that level of consistency again, then I think that's going to be Rising Goat's biggest advantage in that sense. And as Ricky Boy continues to grow and continues to gain speed, I think I'm not 100% sure about where I put Rising Goats there, but I think it would definitely be like interesting to see just how far up they can go.
It will definitely be interesting to see. Um, I feel like Ricky Boy, I guess, is in the same boat as Axis, who's been. I've not updated the teams and drivers yet. I'm surprised Guzzyman hasn't been in my DMs threatening to kill me over that. But Glow retired from racing because of his
Ooh,
internet, which is a Oh, I'm sure a story we'll get onto. So Axis is now racing for SRA next season alongside Alice. So I feel like
Mhm.
Axis and Ricky will be in the same boat next season, probably fighting amongst themselves for the first couple races until they can get used to CL. Because this is a whole other game. Like, if you think JL's dirty, race a CL sprint and see if you still think that it's a bit insane. But we'll
Oof.
get to them. We can go up the order. Bobcat, Drivers, Dog Gamer, and Fede. I feel like they're one of the favorites.
Ooh.
Probably second, the second favorite for this season. Oh no, HP. No, I'd still say second favorite for next season. Dog Gamer and Fede. That's a pretty good
What
lineup.
what a lineup, huh? Damn. And I think sometimes Fede might not race, so then the legendary VZS is going to definitely help the game gain some points every now and then. But like no, this lineup, like Fede is super quick, obviously, like on mobile, and Dogamer is Dogamer, and many people say he's the championship favorite. So ever since he's taken over the team principal slot, he's really done wonders for Bobcat. So it will be very interesting to see, eh?
I mean, Doc Emers saved Bobcat. If he wasn't there, then the team would have been disbanded by now. Because I'm not gonna lie, Urist is dead for the last few seasons. So yeah, I mean, Dog Gamer has done a very good job with that team, and is also a very good racer. So that will be fun to watch. HPF, PP, or Kratisfuel and Lexus. That is also probably, I don't know, third or fourth favorite. I would say maybe. I don't. I think
Will be
PP
definitely
or Kratisfuel is really good, but probably will miss races. Um, I don't know. What do you think about HPF this season?
It depends on how much Kratzovsville can stay on the track, if I'm being honest. Because, like, he'll be on the track, but then he'll suffer from the craziest amounts of unluckiness, to say the least. Where out of the blue, you can have like five cars 1 second behind him fighting for position. Then one of those cars ends up taking him out. That's his luck. So I think, like, with somehow I made it now also becoming a little bit more active. I definitely see HPF cooking, cooking. Definitely see them cooking. So
Yeah,
I
well, I
think
know they'll need to kick pretty hard because I know from my sources that HPF are wanting a seat in UL soon enough. Not Kratisfuel or Lexus. The team want to get back up to UL.
ooh,
Um, I wouldn't know how
you're-
I know that. I don't know at all, but that is something to watch. So they will be pushing harder than any season before, I'm sure. HRT
100%.
Arbor
Oh, that's a team.
is,
That's a team in
well,
a very
it
big.
it was, and then Arbor got banned for this season. So Jaruni and
Yeah,
someone will be driving for HCR. There's voice crack too. Um, Jaruni is also very quick, and I know that because I've raced him in mocks. He is very, very, very quick. Um, I don't know who they'll sign as their other main because there's very little people now to actually sign. So I'd imagine they'll go back to what
yeah.
Rising Goat and SRA did and just sign a JL driver for the season. So that could maybe hold them back. But Jaruni is one of the favourites to get in the top three this season, I think.
Like he is the driver with, I think, like he's the most what's it called, acclaimed
Oh.
CL driver. So he's got like most in everything in like so many things in CL. I think there's a class of very quick drivers as well though. So that might produce some problems on the racetrack and off the racetrack for that matter. Because ooh, oof, arguments and stuff get quite interesting to say the least. But
Similar to
I
what's going on
think, yeah,
outside your house, it sounds like.
oh, 100%, 100%. It's like I think you can definitely expect competition off the track to. Oh, it's going to be hectic because there's going to be things that are said, and I can imagine if Jiruni and Gamer in particular are in a title fight, this is going to have like this is going to be like a flashback to Blanca and Guzzi Man from a few seasons ago. Yeah, but it's I find it very interesting. It's like two of the big teams with HRT and Spanish Raiders, both without like one of the main drivers in their teams now. So, like, yeah, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, like I said before, Girouni is rapid, but I do also like what you were saying before of like the off track battles. It is so fun to see, and I think like Dog Gamer can get a little bit defensive if people are talking about him. Girouni probably the same. Arbor definitely the same, but we won't see him much this
Oh,
season. Fede doesn't really talk much. Skadoosh or he can be it, but we'll talk about him later because I'd like to talk about him in his own segment. But yeah, it will definitely be interesting to see how HRT perform because there's definitely going to be sort of like a Red Bull thing. Unless they can pull off an absolute wonder transfer, it is going to be Girouni and a JL driver. So you will see Girouni near the front and their teammate probably nearer the back. So I don't know. Keep an eye on them definitely into next season.
ooh, you know what? That actually brings me to a question. I'm not sure if it's right to ask this,
Oh, just do it.
but will we still see HRT on the grid next season?
Why? Do you mean inactivity?
Yeah, inactivity.
No. And I'm not deciding. I can't decide mid speech if I want to go off on a rant on this. You know what? Screw it. No, you will see them on the grid next season because the URA are so scared to pull out inactive teams.
Oh,
But, and
oh,
I'm name calling URA. Come on, like the inactive teams. No, but like genuinely, I think in cases like Bobcat, Urist is was active, but no, he's not, and that's fair. He has a life. I don't. That's fair. He's not active because he's out having a life. But in that case, the team should be given over to Dog Gamer, who is the active one, who's keeping the team alive, who's doing well with the team. Like, I don't. I really don't like the whole team owner is inactive but doesn't want to lose their team, so they hire an active team principal, and then the team just goes on forever. It's like you're not fixing the problem. You're just putting patches over it until it falls off again, and you have to get something new. Like it's not fixing it. They're just gonna keep hiring new team principals, until like the end of the server. So like it
oof.
is a little it's a little bit of a strange system that they
Yeah.
have, but I mean, yeah, you're gonna see them. You're gonna see Bobcat still with the same ownership. Um, yeah, even like in the other leagues as well, there's inactive teams, but I'd imagine you'll see all of them as well. TLC got removed last season, which made way team
Yes.
for Banner's team. I was the eighth team that was added, so I didn't have to go through any of that. But I think they were an exception because they didn't have a team principal and their owner was dead as well, who's also now left the server
Oh,
because
that's
of
not good
that.
too.
Uh, so yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Uh,
sorry, that was a very long answer to your question, but yes, we will still see HRT on the grid next season.
yes. Oh, that's gonna be spicy. That's gonna be spicy. Yeah, I think. Hmm. I'm somebody who loves speculation and stuff like that. So I think I wonder if a lot of it might also like I wonder if I wonder how much of it might also depend on if Mayhem stay. And we're still going to go into the Mayhem business too a bit later. But I do wonder how it's going to work. Although I can definitely still see HRT Push Pro pushing for the top.
Oh,
But yeah, like like I think we should go two in one for each one from now on. It's like Spanish Raiders and Velocity Power Team, the champions.
yeah. I think two very different lineups. One with SRA with Starlight Alice and not Glow, so they've got access now.
Or
Again,
British.
like we said, but yeah, it's gonna be renamed to British Raiders, but we know what British Raiders have done in the past, so let's not bring that back. That's a bit of a touchy subject. uh,
I'd know. I'd know.
oh,
We
sorry
I'm
about
kidding.
that. I apologize on behalf of my ancestors, but like, um, I think Alice is rapid, but the I guess off track side is probably the problem. Um, I feel like that's someone we could
Yeah.
see maybe in a few arguments next season, but she is
Ooh.
rapid. I need to remind myself of that. But yeah, they are absolutely rapid. Axis
Yeah.
can be rapid on his day, but I think to the start of the season, probably in the same way you saw me at the start of last season, definitely towards the back, fighting people like Ricky Boy, people like that. But VLP, oh my god, they have got my predicted first place driver. They've got my predicted second place driver. They are like that is an insane lineup. Skadoosh,
Sheesh.
Skadoosh, Spludoosh. He is like one of the um one of, if not the quickest driver in this league. And I can see him winning the whole thing by probably quite a big margin
Just
next
leave it
season.
right.
Then Sash, I unfortunately found out last season is absolutely rapid as well. I'd imagine he would be up there as well. Last season he did struggle, to be fair, with the whole sort of racecraft side of it, but he is rapid and he's got
Yeah,
experience now with
definitely.
the CL world. So they are such an insane lineup.
Yeah. This is like literally the lineup to beat. And funnily enough, the whole lineup, so it's like it's huge. You've got Stage, and then you've got Skibidi, all starting with S's.
They've got the SS as their main drivers. Oh no, that's they're going to be aggressive on track. But no, they are. I think they've probably got the best drivers out of the league in every single seat. Driver one, driver two, and reserve driver. I think they probably beat
Yeah,
everyone in all of
it's gonna
those.
take quite some.
Yeah,
It's gonna take quite some beating. But I still think I still think the likes of Der Gamer and Alice and possibly Chiruni. No, actually, I think definitely Chiruni. I think that trio is going to be the main trio to chase after that top two and prevent them from potentially, yeah, potentially, yeah, from potentially winning the title.
yeah. You know what? I'm changing my expectations for myself next season. My expectations are to qualify
Oh no!
somewhere near the top of the grid, slipstream them until the end of the race. Jobs are good. That's all.
Yes,
That's all I want to do. I'm not making any moves next season. I'm gonna qualify in sixth, and I'm just gonna stay there behind those five for the entirety of the season. That's
100%. Just make sure you dodge them if they make mistakes.
well, yeah. I am known to getting brake checked sometimes, but no, it'll be fun. And people like Fede, Kratishfield as well. He will be up there, 100%. Um,
Definitely.
Everyone, pretty much everyone on the grid has got a chance to be up there in like the top five. That's kind of insane. I think maybe
Yeah, absolutely.
except a few, pretty much everyone can be up there, which is mad. It's a pretty fun, or will be a pretty fun season to watch, at least. Maybe not so much to drive, but definitely to watch.
I can definitely imagine. This is going to be. I hope it's a lot cleaner than last season, though. I will say that. I hope
Impossible.
it's a lot cleaner. Oh, goodness.
This is
No, no,
CL.
definitely. Yeah, this league has always been a bit hectic, but I do wonder if it will change heading into season 22 of UL and season, I think it's 19 of CL, so next season.
Season
But
21 of UL.
no, next season,
Oh,
after
next
this one
season.
with the
Okay.
new cars,
Oh
with the
yeah,
new
that'll
cars.
be. I can't wait to get rid of these cars. I'm not gonna lie. But
Dude,
do you do you have any more to talk about in the CL section, or do we just move on to UL now?
I think let's move on to UL, although I do think let's do two or maybe three teams. Oh, let's do three teams at a time, right? But from top to bottom because whoa, oh, oh, oh.
Top to bottom in the last season's
No,
standings, or top to
yeah,
bottom in
yeah,
the sort of predictions?
last season standings.
Okay. Oh, I'll let you
'Cause-
take it away then, because you seem really excited to get onto this.
oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh my soul. Okay, so we've got an interesting title fight going on already, even before the season's begun. So, let's say, obviously, Fantamy has been or has chosen to take the reserve seat. Now they've signed F1 Fan next to Hnandi, who is doing his final season, not just as a team principal, but also as a driver in LSA. You've got SCP with JT now also taking over the team principal slot from last season. And he's staying alongside Johnny with their gamer as a reserve. But that is an absolutely cracking lineup, and we saw Johnny improve towards the end of last season too. Then you've got the ones that everybody and their mothers, their fathers, their sisters, and their brothers are looking at. So Kuziman, team principal of one time, but the two owners are also the two main drivers. You've got Flix and you've got Figuera. So you've got JT, you've got Flix, you've got Hnandi, you've got Joe, you've got Johnny, and potentially F1 Fan who was showing real signs of improvement and is the reigning UL champion. Albono, what are your thoughts on all of this, by the way? Whew.
Um, I think from an outsider perspective, it's gonna be incredible to watch. I was as excited for the contracts to be done as I was for like F1 contracts to be done, because like it is insane the
Yeah,
quality we've got on this grid this season. Like
absolutely.
absolutely mad. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here and ask: Is there even a title fight for the drivers? Because
I'll say, hmm,
oh my
hmm.
god, Figo is rapid. Like I know he doesn't like to say it. He's a little humble and like, oh, and I'm not that good. I made some mistakes. He is rapid. He won by like 10 seconds last season at one point. If he actually properly practices along with the other two, he is just like so far ahead. And I hate to say it for like JT and Henanze because they're also incredible, but like Figo is just insane. Like absolutely insane. I think
Hmm.
I don't want to rule out the season before it's even started, but I think the fight is for P2 next season. I'm not gonna lie.
That's a big call. That's a big call. Although I can understand it, though. I can definitely understand that. And I think JT's also missing a few races too. So
Hernandez missing
that's,
two.
I think, yeah. Hey, Randy.
Yes.
Hmm. So you might actually be bang on the money, but I do wonder if maybe I think it depends on how long the race is for. But I wonder if he might then be a challenger for Figo or another driver that we'll get into a bit later, or two drivers for that matter. Three, maybe. Four, maybe.
Oh my god.
It's, yeah. Like, wanna go. Wait, out of the three teams, like, if they were the only three teams in the title, right? How would you rank them? Like, yeah, how would you rank them? Albono is typing.
My bad. I had to go talk to my mum, but
No problem.
I remember the question. It's okay. I could hear. Um, I'll cut it here. Don't worry. So we don't need to sit through the awkward pause. I think it's so difficult because I think is this including or excluding activity? Is this just if all six drivers attended all 10 races?
Hypothetically, yeah.
Hmm. I mean, it's got to be one time. Um, like if Flex attends all 10 races, he could be challenging Figo because he's rapid. He just like, do you know like if you were at school and there was this person that's like really, really, really smart, but they just don't feel like being the next Elon Musk, and they just like
No,
don't
definitely.
don't pay attention. That's Flex in this game. Like he could be the next UL winner once like the big three leave, but if he just attends all races, oh my god. So I would definitely say one time first, and then it would be close. But I would still put SCP second, then LSA first, because I think just F1. I think JT and Hernande would be very even, and then I think Johnny Fu would be F1 fans. So I think in reverse order is actually how
Mm,
they finished last season. I think it would be one time SCP LSA. What about you?
I've actually got a counter. I've got a counter for that because I think so. When this generation of cars started, JT was leagues above everyone else, and then Figo eventually was the one who came close to him, and then like triumphed over him, and now the balance has kind of shifted. And obviously, JT is not going to be as active this season, but I still think that I think when it comes to like the very very top ones, I think it's I think it's those two in their own league, and I'm gonna group JT with Figo in this one, and then I think it is Nandi and Flicks together in their own little league. And then I think you can say it's F1 fan and Johnny, who I still think has that advantage, but I think F1 fan is going to close that advantage as the season goes on because of the LSA effect.
Yeah, that
So
does seem to be a
yeah,
real effect, but I mean, Johnny Phil apparently doesn't need the LSA effect to be improving like mad. But I guess it does help to
100%.
have a two-time World Drivers' Championship winner as your teacher, I guess. Um,
Definitely.
but that will be a very interesting battle. And then moving down onto the next three, then FLF, Raikar, and RMC. Again, I'll let you start this because you seem like you have so much to talk about on this topic.
FLF. That's a proper lineup. Although I still think, like with Sage, he's going to take some time to get to that level that he shows because I don't think he's with. Oh, I saw the fighting at the back again, but I don't think he's quite there yet. I think he's still a thing of he's still building into it because he's got the raw pace with the racecraft, still getting into that and still getting used to it. Corvizzle. Oh my soul. He's now got good Wi Fi. So let's just hope on his behalf that it actually sticks because he was the last Catalunya winner and we go to Catalunya for the first round. So let's see. Let's see. I want to see
I
how
would
this is
love a
going to go
Carvid
for
race
him.
win this season. That would be so good.
Definitely. Definitely.
We
Definitely.
need we
But
need to
my
get this man to
goodness.
Europe. Oh my god, or put the servers in Australia or something. Jesus, like if he had low ping, I think he would be up there, if not more close to Figo than JT and Hernande.
I don't know. I don't know. I can see him closer to Mandy, but I think JT and Figo, I think they're on their own. They're on their absolute own level because they are they are insane. They are insane. These guys in particular. But yeah, with RMC and RMC. Oh wait, no, RMC and RKA. I think if I was to rank the three teams, I'd say it would be. Ooh, this is a bit tight because Flow Force have Kubo now next to Jiruni, and Kubo, as we know, is the rapid resident, Mr. Consistent of UR as a whole, and he's looked very quick from the word go really. And you've got RKA. Mati's definitely looking like he's got something in the. He's got some punch to him this season. And Bituka preseason, I mean, no, not preseason, in the mocks, sometimes it's worked, sometimes it's not worked. But every season, Bituka goes a level up. So I could, like, if I was to rank these three teams, I'd say Flow Force, RMC, Rika. What would you say?
Hmm. I think 10 races out of 10 for all six drivers. I would put RMC top.
Hmm.
Just because it's 10 out of 10 races, hypothetical, doesn't mean there's no ping involved. And Corvid gets absolutely shafted by his ping pretty much every race in some form.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
gets asked to DNF in races and he gets overtaken because of lag spikes. Sash rapid in JL when he was at the front, but I think he's very similar to like a JL Lewis Hamilton. Rapid when he's in clean air, and then when he has to, well, not Lewis Hamilton. Who's the guy that they say that about? Rapid and clean. Is it
Lando,
Lando? Yeah,
Lando
Lando.
Norris.
Rapid and clean air, and then when he gets put in the thick of it and has to fight everyone and be aggressive, gets just isn't there at all. So I would put them below RMC because RMC, Jesus, that is a consistent
Oof.
lineup and a half. That's like Kubo is insane. Jiruni can be insane. He's very good. And they've got like the most goated of all drivers as a reserve as well, Jake Brad. That's a super sub and a half. But and then Raikar at the bottom because I think Matty's good, Batuko. I think pre-season I've been on the pace with Batico, so I don't really know. I think they're maybe I maybe shouldn't say this, but they're maybe going for the Destructors Championship. Again,
Shots
we're
fired.
back. Um, uh, I I don't know if it's just me or if it's everyone, but whenever I race either of those two, especially on the Batico side, I just get pushed off the track. Like, even if I leave them the space, even if it's mainly when it's Matty Mar, because I know he's a lot faster than me. I think Batuko, I may be catching up to his pace. Matty Mar, when he's trying to pass me, I'll give him the space. Like in the Spanish block, main straight, I give him the space. I'm letting him pass. I'm slowing down. He counter steers into turn one and pushing me off the track. I don't know if RKA or Raikar just hate me or hate Lynx, but
Could
oh
be.
my
Could
good
be.
god. Oh my god. They are I do not look forward to racing either of them this season. They are like
Yeah,
Matty and Bitiko can be nice off the track. I think I don't really know Bitiko that much. I know people have said he can be nice, but my experiences with Bitiko are both pretty bad. He was absolutely crapping on my endurance league and then pushes me off track in mocks, but I'm sure he's nice. And then Matty Mar can be nice as well. And I mean, I live for his interviews. I would
yeah,
definitely put them below both of those teams. I think they
yeah,
could be
sure.
they could on paper they've got a good lineup, but I think they could find themselves in 8th place next season just with the quality everywhere else.
Definitely. I'm not sure because, like, I think our experience is definitely contrast in this one. Especially like because with Pituco, I think when it comes to loping, that I usually enjoy racing. I think he's one of the ones that I usually enjoy racing with the most. So it's very like opposites in that sense. So and even Mati as well. Mati usually lets no, like if we're side by side, Mati will sometimes back out. I think first laps Mati is very elbows out, but after that, it's awesome to for me to usually work with him on the track. And with Pitupo, usually it's like side by side, side by side, side by side, and just about making it through the corners together. So yeah, on that front, I think the experiences definitely differ in that sense. So that yeah, yeah, that's very interesting because damn, damn, RMC. Relax. Jokes aside, jokes aside. Let's move on to the final three teams, and I might mention them in.
Wow,
No, I'll mention them in order.
wow, wow, wow.
But well. The team I'm going to mention first is the one we're going to speak about last because I do have to go to the shops, so I will let you finish us off. But firstly, links racing
Oh no.
with team principal, Scottish team principal, JR winner, CL podium finisher, AR winner. It is none other than Al Bono. Or no, let me say, future JR champion,
Oh no.
Al Bono. X2, Hull City in, I think it was JL the one time. And I think he also got a win actually in JL.
Mhm.
But Mr. America, it is the combination that's there for three leagues in succession ULCL and JL. We're going to speak about this combination last. But it is Mason with Alice as a reserve, the up and coming Alice as a reserve. Alice in Wonderland, you feel me? For Lynx Racing, who stayed on the grid. And then we've got Stargoat GP with the returning duo of Man Big Goat and Blank, Blank, Boat and Blank with Crustanet as a reserve is racing for Man Big Oats in the first race in a team that's undergoing like its own reconstruction under none other than the goats of UR2D2 Nuno the second. And last but not least, mayhem, and they're going to cause mayhem with the lineup they've got. Poland and Latvia, Aussie, Sexy Digger, with Arbe, who's probably not going to be able to race this season at all, or like at least for the first five. He's their reserve. Cato in charge. Their future still in question, but their team is looking rapid. So, Albona, oh, first things first, I think let's go from bottom to top. Mayhem Racing. You like, what are your thoughts on it?
Um. First of all, what an intro to those three teams. Second, I think dangerous, but in two ways rather than just one, because
Yeah,
both of those drivers have like insane speed. Ozzy's been winning mocks. He's been challenging against Figo and Hernande and Manbergo and all the top drivers. 6Y has been a little bit further off, but still the same. But my God, you talk about a reputation of being dirty on track sometimes, and I think those two have maybe got some of the golden seats in that. I think, for my experience of racing Aussie has always been good because we're pretty good friends and we play like F1 24 together and stuff. But I know a lot
Yeah.
of people find both of those drivers quite dirty. Harper as well, just making it the trio. But it will
Oh,
definitely
oh,
be
oh, oh.
a mad lineup. They're going to be insane next season. Like, they will be one of, if not the biggest dark horses for that fourth place. I
Yeah,
probably
definitely.
challenge an SCP for fourth, I guess. Maybe, well, I mean, we'll get onto SCP in a minute. SGP, and I'll share my
It's
thoughts on that one
cheapy.
as well. But
Oh, yes.
Mayhem definitely look very, very good.
Dude, Mayhem. I think this is like the best Mayhem lineup in quite some time because, oh, this is like, Ozzy, of course, is looking quick, right? And we've seen it in mocks. And his racecraft is definitely on the rise. Sexy Digger comes back. He stole my first podium in Germany. I'll never forget that. Damn, that one still hurts. But you know what? He scored his first podium on the day. And fair play to him because he's back, he's up and running, and wow. But oh, oh, oh. I wonder how much, right? I wonder how much the whole thing of reserve drivers is going to play a role in how Stargoats and Mayhem compete against each other because Stargoats obviously have a trio of extremely quick drivers. And Manbegoat is going back to the Netherlands sometime soon, so he'll be there for round two onwards with low ping too. And you've got Blank, you've got Crust, who's top of time trial in Spain. Albono, I pose the question to you, right? How high do you think Stargate will go?
Third,
Ooh,
and I'm
actually,
saying
really?
it. I'm doing it. I think. Well, Manbergo is missing the first race because he's on the plane back to the Netherlands. He is in the airport
Yes.
during the race, so that's the reason. But oh my God, that man with low ping is going to be insane. Blank. I am not old enough to know who he is, but I have been told by many people, including Manbergo, that he is
Mm-hmm.
rapid.
Mm-hmm.
Cresting it in
Mm-hmm.
Spain is going to be mad because he is also insane. I think dark horses, as far as those go, they will be one, and maybe not even a dark horse because that means people don't expect you to win. I'm expecting them to be up there. I think they're going to finish third. Behind who?
Ooh.
I don't know, but it's not one time. So it's either LSA or SCP. Um, I don't want to name names, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to move on swiftly. But SGP, I think either third or fourth next season.
Intriguing. Intriguing. And I feel you on that, and I do think that Blank might still take some time to readjust as well. Because when he made his debut on his first weekend, this was back in Avenisto actually, back in I think season 17, took second in CL, if
Jesus.
I remember correctly. This was for Matza too, by the way. This was for Matza. So, like, oh, this is. I think, yeah, no, I'm so excited to see how Stargate is going to do, especially after myself and Glow and myself. I'm naming names. Glow and myself. We tanked the team together. We destroyed the team together. I'm kidding. 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 But yeah, now onto the other Portuguese team. It is, just to finish us off, Lynx Racing. with the Scotsman and the American partnering each other for the third league. How are you feeling? How you expect? No, not expectations, but whereabouts do you feel you're going to be punching?
Well, I think if you look at it on paper and go, hypothetically, everyone 10 out of 10 races, where are we going to finish? Last. And I think that's fair. But I don't care about this season. Lynx have been dead for the last not 17 seasons, that's harsh, but they have been pretty dead for the last couple seasons now. Maybe last
Good.
few. I don't
Yeah.
care about this season because me and Mason are teammates in all three leagues. We're going to be training. We've got Alice as well, for example, in Spain.
Oh,
Mason isn't
yes.
racing. She is insane, like insanely rapid. It's the racecraft side that needs to be worked on. And I'm saying that from an outsider view.
Yeah.
I'm even worse. I need to really work on it. But I think
Yeah.
throughout the season, especially at the start, we're going to be at the back, and maybe even in the mid section, we're going to
I
be at the
see.
back, and even at the end section, pushing towards the midfield. But next season, if we
Yeah.
can get into the midfield, and with the activity even this season being a factor, I don't know. We could maybe not finish last. I feel like for this season is a bit of a write off with the talent. But next season, loads of people are retiring. Activity might not be as good. There's new cars. Anything can happen. That's when Lynx are gonna
Yeah.
come back.
That's true.
Hopefully
That's
with the
true.
Scottish flag this time.
It, like, I'm going to pose another one. Okay. Oh dear, this is going to get messy. But
Oh
if
God.
you were to pick a team that you think you will come the closest to, which team do you think it would be?
um, is this hypothetical 10 out of 10 races or is this anything?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In that case, oh man, um, I guess Riker, just because either Riker or Flowforce, but Flowforce have got Corvette, and he
True.
is insane. Matty was so far up in the standings last season. He was good, but just
Five.
him having 10 out of 10 races got him there because he had a couple P11, couple P10s. Next season, that's not going to cut it to finish P5 in the standings. Um, I feel like it's going to be Riker, and I feel like we're going to be last next season, but I don't care. I really don't care. If we're not talking
Shit.
hypothetical 10 out of 10 races, that depends on the activity of Aussie and 6Y at Mayhem and how they are on
Yeah.
track, because I've seen James getting killing himself sometimes in mocks. Aussie had really, really bad attendance last season, so that depends on him. Floor Force, that depends on Corvid getting asked to DNF in some races, having massive lag spikes. Sash is, we will see, but last season did prove to be very good in UL. But 10 out of 10 races, hypothetical, it's going to be Raikar, but still, Matty is better than both me and Mason, so we'll wait and see.
It should. It should. Yeah, on that one. I think I'm not gonna make a. I don't want to make a prediction for, or like, I don't want to make a call for this one. But yeah, I can understand the logic as well. I can definitely understand because this grid is stacked beyond measure. Although, if I was to pick a team, I think it would be Mayhem, if I'm honest. Because, or if, like, let's say we're not factoring in the 10 out of 10, I think it would definitely be Mayhem. Because I think both drivers, while they're rapid, I think when it comes to the, what's it called?
Activity?
The activity, I think that's where it gets a bit shaky for both. Because Ozzy has retired, I think, twice or thrice. And Sexy Digger can start strong and then suddenly disappears like a ghost. So I think if that happens again this season, I can even see Lynx getting close to maybe even beating Mayhem.
Well, I mean, yeah, awesome. Love that. Love the optimism. Um, I would, I would like that, but I mean, I don't know. The main thing for Lynx, and I am going to speak about myself as team principal here. The main thing that I want from Lynx is
Yes.
just activity, and I made a server. I had rules. I had the season lineup. I had everything ready in the format that I make servers because I've got really bad OCD, all with their own emojis, everything like that. And then I got told there already was a bloomin' Lynx server. I had been at the team all
Oh,
season. I didn't know there was a Lynx server. I was in a chat that was maybe messaged on twice by people that weren't me. So that server is now deleted. We were in the other old Lynx server, but there is no separate channel for Lynx, and it means I would need to talk in front of Dog Gamer and stuff about our strategies. I'm not doing that,
oh
even though
no.
they're leaps and bounds above us. But if Dog Gamer fights, I would like to think I would be able to pose some sort of a threat to him. Um,
Yes.
it's like, I mean, the yeah. So I have now a section for links in the ZipX server just because everyone was already there. Mason, Alice, and myself. The main thing is
Yeah.
activity, and if anything happens throughout the season, like one of the things so far is if you go 2 race weekends without racing, but without letting anyone know you won't be racing, just not being active in the server at all, like not saying you're not going to race, you're kicked because like we're not having that, and that happened a
No.
couple times last season with Lynx. That left me in the first part of the season trying to find someone, and that's how we ended up with Cola, and that one race with Journey and Guzzy Man. So yeah, I think the main
Yeah.
thing this season is activity and just building up to next season.
Let's see. Let's see. I'm lost where the standings and stuff were. But so we've got that front trio, right? I think that's the main focus. The big is it big three or big four? Because
I would
Flix
say
is now
4.
there. And in fact, I'd say five. I'd add Kubo to that. I'd definitely add Kubo to that. That's that big five, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, out of the drivers outside that big five, who do you reckon is the most likely to join that big five? Especially between
Hold on,
yeah, no, no. Who
let
do
me
you
get my
reckon?
notepad out because I've got like a prediction of all the drivers here. Um,
Let's see. Let's see.
I am for my own reasons not gonna disclose who I've put because I don't want to offend anyone. But I don't know. I feel like the top 3 are settled between Figo,
Oh, and
Hernande, and
Corvid too. He's amongst them. Let's say. So the big six, I'd say.
so who are we putting in the big 6 then that we're not talking about? Hernande, JT, Figo, Flicks, Corvid, and Manbergo.
Kubo.
Oh, it's got to be top 7 then because Manbergo.
I'd say he's like I think it's still a thing of we have to see the races for Goat, and then like because I think on my side I'd say it's between him and Ozzy. Between him and Ozzy, with regards to breaking into the upper echelon.
I think Johnny Fu as well. Them 3.
Yes.
I would put it in that order, and no disrespect to Johnny because he was insane last season. But if Ollie races all 10 races, he is insane so far. So we will see the races because Johnny Fu is definitely consistent enough. But I would put them in that order to break into the top sort of areas if people aren't there. Carver gets asked to DNF. People go off track. People are fighting. Mambico, Ozzy, and Johnny. I would put to be those drivers.
I will one up you and say I'm adding F1 fan into that because he and Ozzy last season in CL were like insane. And now they're against the previous champion who before F1 fan, which is Johnny Fu. And oh, this is going to be spicy, dude.
It's going to be a very fun season. I'm just glad I can be part of it. I'm just glad that Lynx
100%.
couldn't find anyone else to sign last season that I got in, or else I wouldn't be on the grid this season. And you know what? I don't care. I know I'm not up to compete with the top drivers, but I don't care. I'm just gonna enjoy watching JT, Figo, and Hernandi fight while I get lapped by them. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna be playing with Youa level as so I can see it all happening. But no, it will be very,
Okay.
very fun season. How long has this lasted? 1 hour 25. Not bad.
Cheers.
I think because you've got to go to shops, I've got to go eat. One last thing I want to get is your predictions, like we said
Yes.
before, on JLCL and UL. First in drivers, first in constructors, please. In that order, JLCL, then
Yeah.
UL. And if you don't say
Yeah.
ZX, I will
Okay.
be shooting you.
Okay, then I am food in this point because you will be chewing me. So, um, JL, I'm going Cop. No, this is actually a bit of a tricky one. You know what? I'm going to stick with Carpathian's Peak. Then,
I hate you.
for the drivers, you're going to hate me more for this one. But for the drivers, I will say, you know what? I'm actually going to say you for this one. I will say you, but I'm very tempted to add Carlitos into that mix. So I think it's going to be that. I don't know who to pick, if I'm honest, but I'm going to obviously alliances and stuff aside. I think for this one, I'm going to lean towards you because we don't know about how active Carlitos is going to be. CL drivers, I mean teams is obviously going to be Velocity Power Team. Drivers is going to be the tricky one, if I'm honest. I'm so tempted to say the gamer.
Oh,
I'm tempted to say the gamer because the end of like he's improved significantly, and Sujuchi is quick. He's bloody quick. So I think that's gonna. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the gamer for this one because I think especially because of wet weather pace, I think that's where it's gonna help him. You will. I'm going to take a gamble here. I'm not going to say one time.
you're the first person not to say one time for the season predictions, I think.
No, it's mostly because flicks and activity. That is a combination that I don't know about. And I think this will give Flicks extra motivation, you know? This might give him some little bit of motivation.
You think he
Just to,
watches
you know
this?
what,
That's
prove,
cute.
prove. If he does, it might. But the constructors, I'm going to say, Alise.
Oh, wow. That is not put. I thought you would have went for SCP if you weren't putting one time.
I was thinking of it. But I mean, I've had F1 fan as a driver, right? And I've seen how rapid he can be. So, him against Johnny Fu. And I think Johnny Fu is actually quicker than myself now as well, man. And I think F1 fan he's quicker than myself. The bastard. But um, yeah, you know what? Because when Fernandes is away, Fantomy comes to play. But then SCP have JT and Johnny
And Dog Gamer.
and and Der Gamer. But I don't think Der Gamer's quite there with both of them yet. Johnny and JT, I think both of them might have days when they're absent. F1 fan, I think, is going to be present a lot of the time. Same with Johnny, same with JT, but I think, I'm gonna slide with F1 fan for this one and say Alice. What about yourself?
I think that's the one
Oh,
place
and
we
Figo for
differ
the
then.
drivers.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And we've got some breaking news real quick that Kens are trying to
Yeah.
steal Mitchell away from Cossport as the reserve, offering Mitchell his main, and Arbor has rejected Arcon's reserve seat. But anyway, I'll stop stalling.
Man,
Do I'm I'm not gonna say myself for any of these predictions in JL and my team because I would love to see Zipex winning on debut, but I'm not gonna say them. I'm gonna exclude Zipex from the my predictions. So
Yeah.
um constructors, I think it's hard not knowing with Raikar and Archon to get a full picture, but I mean, at this stage, so late, I don't think either of them would get it anyway. It's now going to be Mitchell and Jetex, I believe, for KMP.
Yes.
I think it's going to be CPR, and then if if he attends all races and practices as much as he has been, then Elbishon will probably take it
Mm.
as well. Um,
Yeah.
you know what? No, I changed
I
my
might
answer.
actually change my answer.
CPR and Mr. Crunk.
Let's go.
Who are you changing your answer to?
I might actually side with Bischone for this one. Actually, you
You've
know
just
what?
remembered he's racing,
No,
haven't you?
no, it's not that. Because I think between the two of you, I think the balance might shift between the both of you. And I think a lot will also depend on how Jetix comes along. But then there's Lexus too. There's Siskin. Siskin is the dark horse for this one. I think Siskin is going to be the dark horse for this one. And Axis, that's going to be one to watch out on quali, especially. But damn, it's very difficult actually. So
So you
you
changing
know, I'm
your.
gonna leave my.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
leaving it. I'm leaving
Okay.
it.
And then mine CPR and Mr. Crunk. I think
Yeah,
CL. I mean, I've had nailed on since the second contracts. VLP and Skadoosh. Spladoosh. That's
yeah.
a quick and easy one for me. And then UL. Do I gamble? Because it all depends on Flicks and his attendance.
Absolutely.
And it also depends on Figo because his attendance last season was bad.
True, 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 true.
I
But
must
I
say
mean, most of the
one
time,
time in
Figo
JT.
needs to. Oh, sorry.
One time in JT.
Ooh, ooh, that's a big one. That's a big one. I feel like JT's got the raw pace. I think Figo's like when Figo's there, JT's got the raw pace. Figo tends to just edge him out on the race pace. So I
Yeah.
can see that.
That's all dependent on Figo missing a couple races, I think. But yeah. JT and one time I would say. And
Like imagine we get a season where the champion is the driver who's only done 7 or 8 races, or even 9. No, 7 or 8 actually, 7 or 8.
imagine we get a season where it goes down to the last race.
Would be thrilling. What an end to this era of cars that would be, eh?
That would be. It would literally be like F1. As soon as we change the regulations, it gets good. Or no, just
Exactly.
before we change the regulations, it gets good, and no one wants it to change. But no, I think everyone will want FES3 to change. They suck. They're bolts. Anywho, I think now that we're done with predictions and before we offend more people by not putting them P1 when they want to be, you need to go to the shops. I need to go eat. I think,
Yes,
unless you have anything else to talk about, that's us done in a record time
it's
of
just done.
1 hour and 33 minutes.
Yay.
No one's made it to
I
this point
mean, it
again.
was absolutely. But yeah, Albona, it was a pleasure. I also do need to get eating as well, but it was a pleasure doing this with you once again.
Yes, it has been amazing. And I believe the next one will not be with yourself, but I'll give a little preview to the very few people that have made it to this point. You're getting a secret. Don't tell anyone. The next is going to be an interview with some of the people we have talked about a lot today. maybe the two favourites to join the season. It's a double interview, and it will be coming in the next
Oh,
week.
yes.
It will hopefully be out this week, if not the early stages of next week. But that has been all for this podcast. Probably longer than all of Kiato's combined. Youa, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
joining me in this, or else it would be a absolute yaps. Yes, that is a perfect time, and my dinner's ready. Okay, well, I'm a go. So thank you, everyone who listened, even if you just skipped to this part. It's greatly appreciated. We will see you for a very exciting season 21. I need to remember to breathe, and the next interview, which will be very fun, and I'm sure very funny with the people that we're going to be interviewing. You probably know who it is by now. Adios.